Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Unbearable Podcast. And today I'm joined with Victor Nichev, two-time All-Conference varsity football player, who's going to tell us his opinion on the Chicago Bears offseason.
Well, just to start off, I'm glad to be here, Nate. Thank you for inviting me. And personally, this has been a big discussion post around the Bears organization. As we all know, as fans, we've kind of lost our minds wondering who it should be. And I'm going to go with Caleb, man. Like, here's my thing. He's going to reset our market financially in the sense of we don't have to pay him for another 4 years. And I really think that the rookie is going to be better than the vet. Like, Fields, I think he's fumbled over 40 times in 3 seasons, and that's just not productive in the sense that, like, he's been average quarterback, I'd say, and Caleb can be a generational guy. You don't miss out on a generational talent. And if we can get some more talent around Caleb as far as the draft, which I'm sure we'll hit on a little bit later, at 9, if Adunze's still on the board, I think he'd be great for the organization. So I think that Caleb would make a bigger impact than Justin as far as moving our franchise forward into a playoff contender. I mean, it's been a little rocky with Nagy, and so now that like we have Eberflus, it's his 4th year, and I think he's shown enough to be our head coach. As far as like the way the defense played the back half of the season was just at a great level. We had the #1 run defense, and our pass defense was coming along with those great linebackers with T.J. Edwards and Tremaine Edmonds. So I feel like as far as an organization, we're moving in the right way. But I think this year's really make or break. If we get Caleb and that connection with DJ and Adunze, if we get him, and Komet, and obviously I think we need a center because that's a big thing because Cody Whitehair, we just cut him, which long time in the making. That guy's just been selling us short, to be quite honest with you. So if we get a center that can protect, maybe a tackle later in the draft, that would be real big for us. And I believe that we can easily be a playoff contender next year, especially with Caleb. Yeah. See, that's a big one because as far as like big name free agents, like I've always been a proponent of addressing questions in the draft, right? Like we have, Poles has proven himself to be a good drafter. So as far as free agency goes, I've always, I prefer the draft of addressing issues. But realistically, that's not what you can do. So I think our DB room is one of the best in the room, so I'd leave that alone. And if we take Caleb at 1 and Adunze at 9, or just a top receiver, maybe even Bowers, like we can run like a 22 personnel, have 2 big tight ends out there. That would be real big for us. Like maybe because you could put Bowers in the slot and keep Komet on the line for sure. So if we don't address another receiving help, I think free agency would be the place to do that. Now, as far as like receivers on the market, I know Higgins is getting franchise tagged, and I don't know how much I trust in Wrigley, but if we can get which I don't want to give a cop-out answer, but I think if we can get a guy that we can give him a prove-it deal, maybe even Mike Evans, which would be kind of crazy but kind of cool. That would be big for us. And then the other thing that we can address in the draft is an edge rusher. Because Sweat, he did a great job for us in the back half of the season. But I think a bit like, and there's like, I don't think we can get Dallas Turner, just because I think he'll be gone before 9. So I'd say address free agency with the edge rusher, maybe Chase Young, which would be kind of crazy to reunite him and Sweat. That could be pretty awesome. And then biggest thing, re-sign Jalen Jones. I mean, guy's a stud. He's a top 3 corner in the league, in my opinion. Call that recency bias. I don't care. Jalen Jones is our guy. Okay, so we don't have an early second. Thank Chase Claypool for that. But as far as the third, I mean, some depth at edge rusher if we get a guy in the 3rd round, unless we like want to trade up, which would be pretty cool. But Polis has shown that he's willing to trade up before. But if we're in the 3rd round, maybe some like edge depth, if we can't get a good pass rusher in free agency, would be nice. And then linebacker depth, I kind of like Sewell, Edmonds, and Edwards. So I think we're decent there at Jack Sanborn. So I wouldn't like touch the defense too much because I think Eberflus has done a great job with that. Maybe like a right tackle. That could be like maybe a depth piece or a guy that can get in the lineup. Because our interior line, besides center, is decent. I like our guards. I feel like they've produced a decent amount. I think we can develop them. Center too, obviously. I'll be quite honest with you. I'm not sure if there's any free agency centers big right now. So maybe like top of the 3rd, you want to draft a center. 4th, you go with an edge rusher. That could be nice. And then maybe just like use the rest. Oh, I'd use a 6th-round pick on a punter in a heartbeat. Our punter, worst average yards per punt in the league, and field position's so big in football, man. Just special teams, special players, yeah. See, that's the toughest one to say, because I think out of the whole league, we probably are in the biggest middle area as far as like what we can do as a franchise. There's so many ways you can do it, and that question honestly depends on the draft, which I think and I believe if we have Caleb on our team, our ceiling is winning the division and maybe a playoff game. 2, if Caleb gets hot, if it's like a Tampa situation where we like verse them in the second round and they're not that hot, we can maybe make the conference championship, but that's ceiling. That's up there. Floor, I'd say 6-11. 6-11 is the floor. This year we were 7-10. We lost some heartbreakers to Denver week 4 when our defense wasn't clicking. The Detroit game, 12 points in 6 minutes. I almost cried a little bit, to be quite honest with you there, Nate. But as far as our floor, I think 6-11 is realistic. Or not realistic, it's a floor. But that's maybe if we keep Justin or if Caleb doesn't have the play calling around him, because we're bringing in a new guy. Getsy wasn't great. So if this new play caller, I think he came in from Indy. I'm not sure on that. Seattle, thank you. Which, Seattle's done some good things with Geno Smith making him look good. But if we can have our offense translate, I don't think our defense will take a big step back. But if our offense, holds us back kind of how they did this year, 6-11 is a definite floor.
All right, thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Nate. This is awesome.
Thank you, Victor, for telling us your thoughts and opinions on the Chicago Bears offseason. Don't forget to check out Victor Nichev on TikTok and Instagram. And until next time, bear down.